He has said the World Cup is directed towards Argentina. He's not at all happy.
Big tournaments are supposed to be remembered for unforgettable goals, legendary performances, and dramatic finishes. Instead, the 2026 World Cup left millions talking about referees, VAR decisions, and moments that sparked endless arguments. Rather than staying in the background, match officials became one of the biggest stories of the competition. A single video review could erase a team's World Cup dream in less than a minute. And many fans walked away convinced that some decisions simply did not add up.
You've got referees with the names on the back of the top. What is going on here? It's getting more and more about the referees and what the referees want. We're hearing, referees wanting this brought in and this rule brought in here. And it's just to give them more attention. And referees are having their own shows, their own podcasts. The best referees are making decisions and you don't talk about them again. With VAR, and it's giving the referees a platform to be seen more, shown more. And the names on the back of the shirt for me was just like, that's what is going on.
Not having it.
What's going on?
Game's gone.
In this countdown, we are looking at 15 of the most debated refereeing calls from the entire tournament. Before we get into them, there is one important rule that helps explain why so many of these moments became so controversial. VAR can only review 4 situations: whether a goal should count, whether a penalty should be awarded, whether a card was shown to the wrong player, and whether a straight red card is deserved. That is the full list. VAR cannot recommend a yellow card. So when a referee is called over to the monitor after a dangerous challenge, the choice is usually limited to leaving the original decision unchanged or showing a straight red card. There is very little room in between, and that limitation played a major role in several of the tournament's biggest controversies. We begin at the business end of the competition with Spain against France in the semi-final. One of the biggest talking points of the semi-finals arrived during Spain's clash with France. In the first half, Lamine Yamal went down after a challenge from France defender Lucas Digne, and referee Ivan Barton immediately awarded a penalty. Spain converted the chance and stayed in control for the rest of the match. But as the replay spread across social media, many French supporters argued that the ball had touched Yamal's own arm before the challenge.
Referee is not good enough. Force officials are not good enough.
What did you make of some of the refereeing decisions?
It's just not good enough. Referees are just not good enough. Force officials are just not good enough. It's the bottom line. VAR today, I think did I see that right? That 3 people at the VAR from South America in a match like this. I think so. I saw this before the match. I might be, but if this is what I saw, if this is correct, it's just VAR overturns. Is this a clear and obvious error for the mistake? For the penalty, for sure not. VAR gets involved. He didn't even give the foul. He didn't even overturn a yellow into a red. They overturn a situation where he doesn't even give a foul. No, referee is not good enough. Force officials are not good enough.
If that had been judged as handball, play would have restarted with a free kick for France, instead of a penalty for Spain. VAR reviewed the situation but did not overturn the decision. The penalty remained, and Spain carried that advantage all the way to the World Cup final. Others pointed out that there was still clear contact inside the penalty area and that Spain had been the better team throughout the match. Even so, when a call plays a part in deciding who reaches a World Cup final, every angle gets examined over and over. This is one of those moments that fans are likely to debate for a long time. The next controversy showed how one limitation in the VAR system could create an unexpected outcome. During Argentina's quarterfinal against Switzerland, shortly after Switzerland found an equalizer, referee João Pinheiro showed Argentina's Leandro Paredes a yellow card for what looked like a foul on Bril Embolo.
No fair, referee no fair.
After a VAR review, officials believed Embolo had gone to ground before any contact was made. Because VAR cannot simply cancel a yellow card, the review instead relied on the mistaken identity rule, removing the booking from Paredes and giving it to Embolo for simulation. The situation became even more dramatic because Embolo had already been booked earlier in the match. That second yellow meant an automatic red card, leaving Switzerland with 10 players at a crucial stage. With their momentum gone, they eventually lost 3-1. After the match, Swiss coach Murat Yakin criticized the rule, calling it unacceptable. What made the incident so divisive was that Embolo was judged to have simulated the foul, meaning the decision itself matched the laws of the game. The real controversy centered on how the mistaken identity rule was applied. It had rarely, if ever, been used in this way before, and its first major use ended with the defending champions gaining a numerical advantage in a World Cup quarterfinal, leading to widespread debate. The next incident came from Norway's quarterfinal against England, and introduced another rule that many fans had never seen applied before. In the 55th minute, Torbjørn Hegem appeared to give Norway the lead after turning in a loose ball from a corner. The goal sparked huge celebrations as Norwegian players and supporters believed they had finally broken the deadlock.
I think it's re-refereeing a game that just simply doesn't need to be re-refereed. Why do we need video review interfering and taking away all power from the man in the middle? He's got the whistle, he saw the play, he chose not to award it. He clearly didn't see the little touch on the toenail. Give me a freaking break, man. It's a disgraceful decision, and video review needs to be very careful because we're going to have to change our rules at some point. It's interfering far too much in our game, and I don't want to see what could have been one of the greatest goals in World Cup history taken away for a decision of a tap of a toe that happened 15 seconds before the ball ends up in the back of the net. An absolute disgrace for Egyptian football, for our game. I'm not even anything near Egyptian football. I don't even follow it. But I feel very sorry for Egyptian football after that type of a decision. Take nothing away from Argentina coming back, mad respect, but that was a disgrace for me.
However, the replay revealed another key moment. As the corner was delivered, Erling Haaland was judged to have pushed Elliot Anderson with both arms before the ball came into play. Under a new World Cup clarification, an attacking foul committed before a restart can be reviewed if it directly leads to the goal that follows. The officials decided Haaland remained involved in the same attacking sequence that ended with the ball in the net, so the goal was ruled out and the corner was ordered to be taken again. By the wording of the updated law, the decision could be defended. Even so, it introduced a new question about how far VAR should be allowed to go when reviewing a goal. If an incident that happens before the ball is even in play can later cancel a goal, many fans wondered where the limit now exists. It also raised concerns about whether more goals could be overturned in the future by closely examining every small push or challenge that happened earlier in the sequence. The fourth controversy reached far beyond football and quickly became an international talking point. It involved Folarin Balogun's red card during the round of 32 match between the United States and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Balogun caught defender Tarik Muharemovic on the ankle during a challenge that looked fairly ordinary at full speed, but appeared much more serious when viewed in slow motion. Many refereeing analysts believed a yellow card would have been an appropriate outcome. However, once the referee was called to the pitch side monitor, the limits of VAR again became part of the discussion. Because the review focused on a possible straight red card, the referee's practical choices were to keep the original decision or issue a dismissal. He chose the red card. The story became even more controversial when FIFA's disciplinary committee later lifted Balogun's suspension, allowing him to return for the round of 16. That decision immediately sparked questions about consistency and whether similar cases were being treated the same way.
He says, "We haven't seen respect or fair play. A penalty was ruled out and a second incident that should have been checked by the VAR was not even checked. A second goal was remarkably, for whatever reason, disallowed." And he's not finished there. He goes on. "There seems to have been pressure on the Argentinian side, on the referee, that has brought about this outcome." He says the referee is unfair. He's wasting the effort of an entire nation. The cup is directed towards Argentina.
Many critics argued that the process lacked transparency, especially after reports that political figures had become involved. The debate only grew stronger when England's Jarell Quansah, who had also been sent off earlier in the tournament, received a 2-match suspension with no comparable outcome. The contrast between the two cases fueled days of discussion. What began as a split-second challenge on the field developed into a much bigger story involving VAR, disciplinary decisions, and the way football's biggest tournament handled high-profile incidents. Instead of focusing only on the referee's call, fans and commentators were debating whether the disciplinary process was being applied fairly across different teams and situations. The next controversy takes us back to the match where many supporters believe the tournament's refereeing debates truly began: Argentina's opening group stage game against Algeria. During the first half, Lionel Messi challenged Algeria captain Aissa Mendy and caught him high on the calf with his studs. Several pundits believed the tackle deserved a straight red card, but the referee showed only a yellow, and VAR did not recommend a review for a dismissal. Messi remained on the field and later completed a hat-trick. The decision frustrated Algeria, whose football federation later submitted a formal complaint to FIFA that specifically referenced the challenge. Whether the challenge was intentional remains open to debate, and there is a fair argument that it was not. Even so, many supporters felt the game's biggest star had received the benefit of the doubt in the tournament's opening match. That decision quickly became one of the most talked about moments of the competition and helped shape later debates whenever Argentina benefited from a close refereeing call. The sixth incident is often described as the tournament's most significant refereeing controversy. It came in Argentina's round of 16 match against Egypt, a game that many fans still point to when discussing VAR decisions. Egypt were outstanding throughout the match, and Mostafa Zizou appeared to double their lead with a sharp finish after a quick counter-attack. Moments later, VAR intervened and ruled out the goal, deciding that Marwan Ataya had fouled Lisandro Martinez much earlier in the attacking sequence. The incident had taken place around 20 seconds before the goal, and nearly the full length of the field away from where the ball eventually crossed the line. The review immediately divided opinion. Many questioned how far back officials should be allowed to examine a passage of play before disallowing a goal. Egypt did eventually score again to make it 2-0, but Argentina responded with 3 goals in roughly 13 minutes, including a stoppage time header from Enzo Fernandez to complete the comeback. After the match, Egypt manager Hossam Hassan strongly criticized the officiating and said he believed the decisions had favored Argentina. What made the controversy even more intense was the comparison with another key moment later in the match. Critics argued that the detailed review used to overturn Egypt's goal was not applied with the same level of scrutiny during the build-up to Argentina's winning goal, where Egypt believed a foul had also occurred. That contrast fueled widespread debate about consistency, with many fans questioning whether similar incidents were being judged by the same standard. The match became one of the biggest talking points of the tournament and sparked extensive discussion across football communities worldwide. The Argentina decisions also highlighted a much bigger issue that stretched beyond any single match. VAR was introduced with the promise of making football fairer and giving fans greater confidence in important decisions. Instead, many supporters left this tournament feeling less certain than ever. Rather than celebrating a goal immediately, fans often found themselves waiting to see whether another review would change the outcome. Former FIFA referee Christina Unkel, who worked as a television analyst during the tournament, summed up that mood by saying that confidence among supporters had been seriously damaged. She also remarked that she had never witnessed this level of frustration surrounding officiating in her career. For many people, the debate was no longer just about individual calls. It had become a wider discussion about whether the review system was achieving the goal it was created for. The seventh controversy was heartbreaking in a completely different way. Deep into stoppage time of Iran's final group stage match against Egypt, with a place in the knockout rounds hanging in the balance, Shoja Khalilzadeh bundled the ball into the net during a frantic goalmouth scramble. Iran, one of the tournament's biggest surprise teams after exceeding almost every expectation, believed they had secured a dramatic place in the round of 16. The celebrations lasted only a few moments. Khalilzadeh tore off his shirt as teammates and coaches rushed onto the field while supporters celebrated what looked like a historic goal. Then VAR stepped in. The offside lines were drawn, and the review concluded that Khalilzadeh had been offside by the smallest of margins, with only part of his foot beyond the final defender. Under the laws of the game, the goal had to be disallowed, even though the difference was incredibly slight. Very few people argued with the offside decision itself, because the technology supported the call. The real debate centered on what moments like this mean for the sport. In the space of a few seconds, one of the most emotional celebrations of the tournament disappeared because of a margin measured in millimeters. The ruling was considered correct under the laws of the game, yet many fans felt it also showed how technology can turn unforgettable moments into painful disappointments. The eighth controversy brought one of the tournament's most dramatic endings. Portugal led Croatia 2-1 in the closing moments of their round of 32 match, when Joško Gvardiol appeared to score a dramatic equaliser from a crowded goalmouth. Croatian players rushed to celebrate as supporters believed extra time was only moments away. Then, another review changed everything. Instead of relying only on the television replays, officials also used data from the motion sensor inside the match ball. According to the review, the ball had made the slightest contact with the head of Croatia's substitute Igor Matanovic during the build-up, a touch that was almost impossible to spot with the naked eye. That tiny deflection meant Mario Pasalic was judged to be in an offside position when the attacking move continued, and the goal was disallowed. The decision had enormous consequences. Portugal held on to advance, extending Cristiano Ronaldo's final World Cup journey, while Croatia's defeat marked the end of Luka Modric's remarkable international career. After more than 2 decades representing his country at the highest level, one of football's greatest midfielders saw his final World Cup match end because of a sequence that technology detected more clearly than any person could. Very few people argued with the offside decision itself because the technology supported the call. The real debate centered on what moments like this mean for the sport. In the space of a few seconds, one of the most emotional celebrations of the tournament disappeared because of a margin measured in millimeters. The ruling was considered correct under the laws of the game, yet many fans felt it also showed how technology can turn unforgettable moments into painful disappointments. The 8th controversy brought one of the tournament's most dramatic endings. Portugal led Croatia 2-1 in the closing moments of their round of 32 match, when Joško Gvardiol appeared to score a dramatic equaliser from a crowded goalmouth. Croatian players rushed to celebrate as supporters believed extra time was only moments away. Then, another review changed everything. Instead of relying only on the television replays, officials also used data from the motion sensor inside the match ball. According to the review, the ball had made the slightest contact with the head of Croatia's substitute Igor Matanovic during the build-up, a touch that was almost impossible to spot with the naked eye. That tiny deflection meant Mario Pasalic was judged to be in an offside position when the attacking move continued, and the goal was disallowed. The decision had enormous consequences. Portugal held on to advance, extending Cristiano Ronaldo's final World Cup journey, while Croatia's defeat marked the end of Luka Modric's remarkable international career. After more than 2 decades representing his country at the highest level, one of football's greatest midfielders saw his final World Cup match end because of a sequence that technology detected more clearly than any person could. Whether the decision was technically correct depended on how much confidence you placed in the technology. For many fans, though, the emotional impact was impossible to ignore. The 9th controversy became one of the tournament's defining stories and quickly earned the nickname Cablegate. England were only moments away from halftime in their quarter-final against Norway, trailing by 1 goal when Jude Bellingham produced a superb equaliser. Norway immediately protested, arguing that goalkeeper Ergen Nyland's clearance had struck one of the cables supporting an overhead camera. They believed the contact slightly changed the ball's path before it fell to Elliot Anderson, who helped create the scoring move. Norway midfielder Sander Berge described the situation as ridiculous. FIFA responded by releasing data from the sensor inside the match ball, stating that the readings showed no sign of contact with the cable. That left fans with 2 competing versions of events. Some believed what they thought they saw in the replay, while others accepted the technology's conclusion. The debate became even more intense, because the same tracking system had been praised for detecting the smallest touches throughout the tournament, leading many people to question why this incident remains so heavily disputed. England eventually won 2-1, while many in the Norway camp remained convinced the ball had brushed the camera cable before the equaliser. The 10th controversy delivered one of the tournament's most painful eliminations. Belgium and Senegal were locked in a tense round of 32 match deep into extra time, with penalties appearing almost certain. Then, Yuri Tielemans went down inside the penalty area. Referee Said Martinez initially waved play on without hesitation. After a lengthy VAR review, however, he was called to the monitor. Following several replays, the referee ruled that Lamine Camara had made enough contact during his attempt to defend the cross and awarded Belgium a penalty. Tielemans converted the penalty, completing Belgium's remarkable comeback from 2 goals down to claim a 3-2 victory and eliminate an impressive Senegal side. A match that seemed destined for a penalty shootout was decided instead by a challenge that many viewers struggled to spot clearly, even after repeated slow-motion replays. For Senegal supporters, it was the kind of moment that would remain difficult to forget long after the tournament ended. The 11th controversy had the potential to change an entire group. During England's scoreless draw with Ghana, Prince Adu appeared to be brought down inside the penalty area after a late challenge from Ezri Konsa. To many viewers, it looked like the type of incident that often results in a penalty being awarded. Referee Said Martinez, who had also officiated Belgium's match against Senegal, immediately allowed play to continue. VAR reviewed the incident but did not recommend an on-field review, a decision that quickly became another major talking point. Many analysts and supporters believed the challenge deserved much closer examination, while others felt the referee's original decision could still be defended. Regardless of opinion, the moment carried significant weight because a successful penalty could have completely changed the final standings in the group and altered which teams advanced to the knockout rounds. It also served as a reminder that the biggest controversies are not always created by decisions that are overturned. Sometimes, the incidents that remain unchanged generate just as much debate because of the impact they may have had on the tournament. The 12th controversy kept the focus on penalty decisions. During the group stage meeting between France and Senegal, Kylian Mbappé went to ground inside the penalty area following a challenge from Sadio Mane. Many viewers believed the defender had mistimed his tackle and made enough contact to justify a penalty, making the referee's decision another subject of intense discussion. Referee Alireza Fagani initially waived play on. VAR recommended an on-field review, something that does not happen as often as many people assume. After watching the replay at the monitor, Fagani chose to keep his original decision, ruling that Mbappé had initiated the contact. That conclusion surprised many viewers, as a large number of fans and analysts interpreted the replay differently. Although France went on to win comfortably, the incident became one of the tournament's earliest refereeing debates. The result meant the decision did not have a major effect on the outcome, but it still raised questions about how officials were interpreting similar situations and why identical challenges often seem to produce different conclusions. The 13th controversy centered on a series of penalty appeals involving England. The first came during the round of 16 against DR Congo. Harry Kane broke through on goal before going down after contact with goalkeeper Lionel Mempasi, who had slid in to make the challenge. Referee Adam Ladeb Kadam waived play on and did not award a penalty. While he appeared unconvinced by Kane's appeal, he also chose not to issue a yellow card for simulation. VAR reviewed the incident and allowed the original decision to stand, leaving many supporters and commentators believing England had been denied a strong penalty claim. England's frustrations continued in the quarter-final against Norway. Jed Spence was initially awarded a penalty after going down inside the box, but referee Clement Turpin was called to the monitor for another review. After watching the replay, he overturned his own decision and cancelled the penalty. Those two moments summed up England's difficult experience with penalty decisions throughout the tournament, with calls repeatedly being awarded, reviewed, and reversed. Beyond the individual incidents, the wider discussion centered on how VAR had changed the experience of watching football. For many supporters, the biggest concern was no longer whether every decision was technically correct. Instead, it was the growing uncertainty that followed every goal, with celebrations often interrupted by the possibility that another review could change everything a few moments later. For many supporters, that instant celebration is what makes football special. A goal goes in, the crowd erupts, strangers celebrate together, and emotions take over without a second thought. Critics argue that VAR has changed that experience. Instead of celebrating immediately, fans often hesitate, waiting to see whether the referee will receive a message from the video officials. Only after the review is complete do many people feel comfortable celebrating. And by then, the moment can feel very different. That shift has fueled an ongoing debate about whether the benefits of VAR outweigh the cost. Some believe occasional refereeing mistakes are a reasonable trade-off if they preserve the emotion and spontaneity that define the sport. Others argue that improving accuracy is still the right approach, even if it changes how matches are experienced. Whatever side people take, the tournament intensified that discussion more than ever before. The 14th controversy came during Brazil's group stage match against Scotland. Jack Hendry hesitated while controlling the ball, and Vinicius Junior reacted instantly, stealing possession before calmly finishing into an empty net. It looked like a sharp piece of attacking play, but VAR ruled that Vinicius had committed a foul while winning the ball. Many viewers felt the contact appeared minimal, similar to challenges that are often allowed to continue without intervention. BBC refereeing analyst Darren Cann commented that Scotland had been somewhat fortunate to avoid conceding the goal. Vinicius strongly disagreed with the decision and questioned how his challenge had been judged as a foul. In the end, Brazil still secured a comfortable 3-0 victory and finished top of the group, which reduced the impact of the decision. Even so, the incident became another example, cited by fans who believed goals were increasingly being disallowed for very slight contact. The final controversy on the list came in Germany's round of 32 match against Paraguay. Deep into extra time, Jonathan Tah powered in a header that appeared to give Germany a 2-1 lead and move the four-time world champions a step closer to the next round. Germany thought they had found the winner. The players celebrated, the coaching staff finally relaxed after battling through a determined Paraguay side, and it looked like their place in the next round had been secured. Then VAR stepped in once again. After reviewing the build-up, the officials ruled that Waldemar Anton had illegally blocked Paraguay goalkeeper Orlando Gil. The contact appeared slight, but the referee decided it was enough to disallow the goal. The decision immediately divided opinion. Several pundits, along with members of Germany's coaching staff, argued that the contact was too minor to cancel such an important goal. Others felt the officials had simply applied the laws as they interpreted them. Either way, the match continued, and the drama was far from over. With no winning goal, the game went all the way to a penalty shootout. In one of football's cruel twists, Jonathan Tah, whose earlier header had been ruled out, stepped forward for a decisive penalty. His effort flew over the crossbar, sending Paraguay through and ending Germany's World Cup campaign in one of the tournament's biggest surprises. It was a painful finish for Germany, and a memorable ending to a tournament filled with debates over refereeing decisions, VAR reviews, and moments that supporters will continue discussing long after the final whistle. Some decisions were backed by the laws of the game, others sparked endless disagreement, but together, they ensured that officiating became one of the biggest stories of the 2026 World Cup. Now there is only one match left. Argentina and Spain are set to face each other for football's biggest prize. And after everything we've witnessed throughout this tournament, every major decision will be under even greater scrutiny. Will the final be remembered for brilliant football, or will another controversial call steal the headlines? Before long, we'll have the answer. If you enjoyed this countdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Matchio, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. We cover the biggest football stories, unforgettable moments, transfer news, match analysis, and the controversies everyone is talking about. If you have your own ranking of these decisions, or think we missed one that deserved a place on the list, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your take and see which moment you believe caused the biggest debate of the tournament. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.